Your reaction to the fight.
Um, I thought David looked great. I did. I could tell when a guy been working on his game, and fighters talking a different language from the rest of us. They do. And I kept hearing him talk about how he didn't like the fact that his last fight went the distance, and it was with my guy. I could hear him. He kept saying that, and I could tell that he worked on some things. I talked to him briefly after the fight. I talked to his dad briefly after they fought us, and it was like a little like I could tell that he just worked on some things. I could tell that, he didn't allow, Andre to do some things that Caleb was able to do. And I respect the guy that gets better and they work on their game and they do better than they did in their previous performance. I really respect that because you get better in small increments. You know what I mean? It's not like you just turn into this superstar fighter in one day. It's a little bit here and a little bit here, and then over time it adds up. So I saw him do some things that was better. That right hand he was throwing was beautiful. It was a straight right hand, and it was like a jab. People criticize David, like they want to make it seem like it's so easy to fight him. Well, he fights squared up. Like, well, guess what? His right hand is closer to you when he's squared up. you know? So he gives up a little something defensively, but offensively, his
He
his
added.
his power hand is closer to you, so he can hit you with a quicker right hand than the guy that's in a more traditional bladed stance. People don't realize that because they always looking to criticize instead of looking for an unconventional way that somebody could get the job done. They say his defense is bad. It's not. When you are a pressure fighter and you bringing it like that and you throwing that many punches, you're going to get hit. But he never gets hit with like gunshots. He never gets hit with shots that he doesn't see. He's not like Antonio Margarito where he got hit with everything and he taking 5, 6 punches just to give two. This guy is blocking punches, he catching punches, he's real reactive, and he's not getting hit out of position with kill shots. I think the last time he got hit out of position with a big shot was against Ronald Guerrero when he got dropped.
Yeah,
He
correct.
don't, but if you look at his body, you look at everything about him, that he's a different guy. Um, um, he's a different guy now. So he they talk about his defense, but his plus to minus ratio is one of the best in boxing. So if his defense was that bad, how is it that he's hitting guys way more than they're hitting him? He has really fast hands. He was faster than Demetrius, which I think was one of the reasons why Demetrius was discouraged. Because if you're going into the fight and everybody's analyzing it like, well, Demetrius is the better boxer, and Demetrius is faster and his pedigree and all that stuff, and then he gets in the ring and David is a faster fighter, that's discouraging. It kind of like it kills your
Your advantage.
self-esteem, your livelihood. It's like, God damn, I thought y'all said he was faster. So I try not to have preconceived notions going into a fight because that can happen to a fighter. And if you look at that fight good, I'm telling you, bro, a lead right hand is the hardest punch in boxing to hit somebody with. He was hitting Demetrius with a lead right hand like it was a jab in the first round. Like, it was like crazy. It
Yeah, he
was
was
like,
trying to do that with y'all, and y'all wasn't letting it happen for the first 5 rounds.
we was really on top of a lot of things, man. Like I don't believe just because you fighting a guy, you gotta talk bad about him and look at him like they can't fight. I think that you gotta have confidence, but you gotta have a healthy respect for the opponent because if you don't, you're not gonna prepare in the way that you need to prepare. So like some people gave us our props after the fight, but a lot of people was like, why did Caleb hold? Why did this? Why did that? Why did that? Well, all right, and I just kept saying the same thing, like, let's see somebody else go in there. Because
Because
I know
Demetrius didn't hold at all, and look what happened.
he got destroyed. He
Hmm.
got destroyed. You know what I'm saying? He tried to clinch a couple times, but he couldn't. You know what I'm saying? He tried to a couple of times, but it wasn't that easy. So I just let people talk, and I said, okay, I'm a humble guy when it comes down to that. Somebody go in there and do better, that's cool. But the David Benavidez we fought, that wasn't a little fat kid that just came on the scene. He was in shape. He was ready to go. He was well prepared, and that's the guy that Demetrius saw. And that was that's a rough fight, man. And you know, you gotta cool him off a little bit. He fights with a lot of fire. How do you put a fire out? You put it out with water. You gotta cool him off. So and boxing is a humbling sport. Like sometimes fighters don't want to admit that they have a chink in their armor, and people were saying, why didn't Caleb fight him on the inside? I'm like, okay, see somebody else try. Go ahead. I want to see y'all try it. Do it. Let me see you do it. Like, I can only do but so much as a coach. I gotta make the game plan around my fighter's strengths. So if you want to fight David on the inside and go punch for punch with him, I'm not saying that it's impossible. But what I'm saying is it's going to take somebody that's comfortable being in there, that has a high acumen in there, like on an Andre Ward, James Toney tip. You know what I'm saying? Anybody's just not going to just say, all right, I'm going to go punch for punch with this guy on the inside. It's not going to work like that. He throws short, crisp, hard punches, has a lot of physicality. He talks about how he was 250 or 300 pounds or whatever, and he has a freakish body where he can make that weight. You know what I mean? And it's a lot to deal with. You know what I mean? And like I said, I was humble about it. Some people would say little stuff like, "Why didn't you do this?" And I'll just be like, "All right, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see." And then you get in there, and then in this big fight, guy hadn't lost in 15 years. He got took apart, bro. Now they're talking about moving him down in weight and all this kind of stuff. It's not that simple when you in there with that guy. You know what I mean? They say he can't cut the ring off. He got bad feet. How does he keep staying in front of these opponents if he can't cut the ring off? Just tell me how. How is it possible? How is it possible that he's getting these guys on the ropes and cutting the ring off and putting them in the corner and staying in front of them if he don't know how to cut the ring off? Maybe his feet look a little awkward. Maybe he gets out of his stance a little bit, but that doesn't mean he can't cut the ring off. He does things a little bit unconventional, but that dude's a natural fighter, and he's very comfortable in the ring, and he's tough to beat. You know what I mean? Just that simple. He's a tough guy to beat, man. And I just let everybody just talk, but I was really curious to see, and I like Demetrius, and I love Andre Rozier. That's my guy. So, like, I wouldn't have mind seeing them win the fight. I really didn't have a dog in the race because both guys are in my guys' weight division. So I'm not cheering for anybody, but I wouldn't have mind seeing them win the fight. I just know how tough the fight was, And David, I don't know if you remember, but in the corner, the one thing I kept telling Caleb is you got to stay calm because a fighter like David, they create panic in you. And no matter what kind of shape you're in, no matter what kind of shape you're in, when you start panicking and your heart rate goes all crazy, um, you you get like it makes you more fatigued.
Correct.
And then
Yeah.
you see how tired Demetrius was. You see how he was breathing. He was
You
like,
seen you seen how he breathed it? Yeah, round three, right? He was like,
if you think Demetrius didn't train, you crazy. He trained. That was panic. That's what that's called.
"Yep,
That's what that's
exactly."
called. That's panic, man. And it creates that when the guy is coming at you like that and smiling and making it seem like that none of your punches don't hurt. You got to train the mind as well as the body when you're dealing with a guy like that. You know what I mean? So I'm impressed with him. He did great. The shot that pretty much ended the fight was that big looping right hand in the fourth round.
In the fourth round when he knocked him
But he
down.
was
What
setting
did you
that
see?
up. He was
I
setting that up the
Yeah.
whole time with the straight right hand. You block a straight right hand with your hand here, it's coming straight down the middle. So you could just catch the straight right hand with your left hand. He brought it around
He threw the curveball. He threw the curveball. He threw the curveball.
and he got everything on it. You see
Yeah.
the whiplash on Demetrius' neck. He snapped his neck. He got everything on that joint, man. And it looks like it's straight when it first comes out. and he'll throw it to the body. You know what I mean? So
He was talking about that too. He was actually talking about that in some interviews that he was going straight and throwing a little hook at the end on it.
he
That's
David
tough.
David got
I
a
guess
lot
he
of
said he was
IQ,
working on that
man.
shot.
He got a lot of IQ. People always equate IQ with the guy that's the fancy boxer doing all of the moves, but he has a lot of IQ. If you ever talk to him, if you ever hear him talk, he has a high IQ. He understands boxing. He understands little nuances on how to break a guy down, how to get to him. He's not really a one-punch knockout artist, but he's like a wear-down fighter. He got that wear down, those wear down punches, which can be a little bit worse because he beats on you. And I was very impressed. Dimitri is still hard to fight. He's not an easy guy to fight, with his awkward style. But David was actually the better boxer. He was actually the faster fighter. He was actually more defensively responsible. And he actually showed the higher IQ with changing the trajectory of his punches. That was a very, very impressive performance. Dimitri's whole career was lying on that fight. So you got to imagine how hard he trained because everybody talks about his resume. So he gets this big fight. He gets to be a 3-division champion. He's undefeated if he wins it, and to break a guy's will like that, that was impressive, man, because I know Demetrius is in shape. You know what I mean? I know he was in shape, so it was impressive. That's all I can say. It was very impressive. And you know, people now understand it's not easy to fight the guy. He does a lot of little things, and just because somebody else says something and then everybody repeats it, it's just not so simple. Like I was proud of my guy for tying him up. I'm gonna keep it real with you because you gotta cool that fire down. You gotta cool it down. So you got two choices. If you run all around the ring, you're gonna get tired. If you stay on the inside with him, then that's his game. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, so I got to cool him off a little bit. Then I go back to work. I was proud. I never, ever let nobody kill Caleb's self-esteem. Like, why was he holding? He was holding because that's what you got to do when you can't fight David on the inside. That's what the hell you got to do. Hold him, hit him, squeeze his muscles a little bit, open up a little bit, act like you're going to hold him, hit him. You got to do all of that kind of stuff. We watched Andre Ward do it for years. You know what I mean? He wasn't the biggest super middleweight in the world. He squeezed a guy. Next thing you know, after 7 to 8 rounds, the dude is tired a little bit. You got a fucking choice. You want to do that or you want to get your head knocked off. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I was always proud of Caleb for fighting the fight that he did because you got to be humble in this sport. This is a humbling sport. You know what I'm saying? Like Erickson Lubin, I'm going to give you a good example. Then I got to get out of here. He got clipped twice bad. But Charlo was a one-punch one, and then Fundora was a beatdown. You know what he did when he fought Jesus Ramos? He boxed. That's what he did. He was humble. He listened to his coach. He boxed. He said, I'm going to fight the style that I need to fight to win. I could punch. I got amateur pedigree. I'm sharp. I'm a box. That's what he did. He boxed. And he won the fight.
Mm.
You got to be humble with what you have going into the fight. It's not saying you don't have no confidence, but you got to fight the style that allows you to win. Name of the game is winning first. The second thing is to be impressive. But the
Mhm.
first thing is to win. It's professional boxing. You do want to entertain, but you don't want to entertain at the cost of a loss. Because if you entertain with the cost of a loss, people are going to call you a stupid fighter with no IQ. So it's very important that you fight the style that, and you may not win, but you want to give yourself the best chance to win. Things happen in the
Mhm.
fight. Guys break their hands, they get cut, they get hurt, they get fatigued. I'm gonna be honest, I was thinking about stopping the fight with Caleb and and David. 10 for 11th round. I can't remember exactly when. But I looked at David and I saw something. You know what I saw? He got a little
He stopped.
tired,
Yeah, he just keeps fighting through it.
breaking out those clinches. Gotta keep breaking and pushing and pulling. Fatigued him a little bit. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna let Caleb rock. And I looked at Caleb and I asked him. He said, I'm all right, coach. I'm okay. I'm all right. Trust me, I'm okay. I was proud of him for saying that because a fighter does not want to quit himself as the corner. You got to take their body language and you got to do it for them. That's why you in the corner. You have to surrender for him. He said, I'm okay. He wanted to go on. He was a man about it. I said, all right, I'm going to let you go. But I asked him because I wanted to see where he was at. I wanted to see if his will or his spirit was broken. I seen knots in the back of his head, but his spirit wasn't broken. His heart was still in it. He knew he had won some earlier rounds. He knew if he could pull out maybe 1 or 2 rounds, he could get the fight. And that's what I needed to see from him. But if you fight a stupid fight, you're not even going to get to that point. You won't even get there to know. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying Demetrius fought a stupid fight. I'm not attacking him or his coaches or whatever. I love Andre Rozier. That's my dude. All I'm saying is that's why I fought our game plan for the fight with David the way I did. That's all I'm saying. Is because I knew the guy that I had in there, I had one fight with him, and I knew I wasn't going to turn him in to Archie Moore or James Toney in one camp. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go with his strengths, and we had to try to maximize his chance of winning. David Benavidez is the real deal, bro. He should be on to the pound for pound list.
Absolutely.